Welcome back, guys. The other day I put a story up on my Instagram asking if people would be interested in seeing how I edit photographs. So quite a few people said yes, and this is that video. I'm going to be editing this picture, which I posted up the other day, and a couple of others just to give you some examples of where I change things around a little bit here and there, depending on colours and whatnot. So hopefully by the end of this you'll be able to follow along, and if you have Lightroom, if you don't have Lightroom, I suggest you get it because it's really good. And yeah, you'll hopefully be able to follow along and get your own colour grade out of this. So let's go. The first thing that I do, I'm just going to be working from top to bottom down this side. I'm going to just guess that you, if you have Lightroom, you already know what you're doing. The first thing I do is come down and drop the exposure right down, depending on how bright the picture is already. This one's already quite dark, so don't want it too much, but I'm going to go for minus 0.80. I might bring that up later on, just seeing how we get on with other things. Contrast, plus 14 or 15. Let's go 14. Too high. Ooh. And okay, I think the highlights right down just for now. I think I'll bring those back up in a little bit. Shadows go right up, blacks go right up, and whites go straight down. Okay. The next thing, I'm going to bring the clarity up to plus 25. Don't want to really take it any higher because when you add clarity, it drains a little bit of saturation. I'm going to bring the vibrance down to minus 30 and the saturation up a little bit to plus 10. Okay, so it's not until we get further down here that you start to see the different colours happen. Okay, then we'll come down to this one, the colours. Saturation for the orange will change to 65. Green change to 50, minus 50. Aqua, minus 50 again. And blue, purple and magenta go all the way down. So you can see now if we go before and after, we will be putting a lot of that green back in, but we'll be doing it in a different slider. Okay, so now for the hue, the only thing we're changing in the hue is the green, and we're changing that to plus 44. And then on to the luminance, change the red to minus 100, orange to minus 30, 31 that'll do. Green comes to minus 75. Let's put that in because it's quite important. Ooh. And blue comes right down. Okay, the next one is split toning. So I use a hue of 210, and I put just a little bit of saturation in that at 10. And the shadows, hue number of 227, and saturation 35. Okay, let's go before and after again just to see what we did there. Put some of that green back in, as you can see. Okay, and the next thing that we come to is the sharpening. So sharp goes up by about 37, 38, and put the masking all the way to 100. Noise reduction, luminance about 30, this kind of depends on your ISO and how noisy your image is to begin with. You can see it takes quite a bit out at 30, just enough. And then you can always go back to the clarity slider and bring that down a little bit if you want to. Don't mess with any of that. Enable profile corrections, do that. So we use the Sigma lens. Vignette, yes, I think we do. Vignette minus about 30. Don't mess with that. So this is where it all sort of comes together, and there's not really much of a change. We're pretty much there now. But the greens get their colour here and their hue and everything like that. So what we do is take the red to -15 and a saturation of +10. Green primary comes down to, goes up to +10 with a saturation of -45. Just takes a little bit of colour out there, but because it's up on the actual hue, saturation, luminance slider, it actually comes back in when you do that. Blue +20 with a saturation of -30. Again, doing the same thing. And that's usually when I come in and I select my preset that I've got this set to, is what it looks like. So then, depending on what this looks like, I'll go back in and change a few things around, so I can see that the highlights definitely want to come up a little bit more. So this is where there's no numbers really involved. You just sort of guess whereabouts it is. I'd say about there. I'm going to bring the whites up a little bit too. Ooh, just to about a little bit more. So that's 40, let's say 50. Then I bring the blacks down quite a little bit more. Maybe the shadows a little bit too, just to make those yellows stand out quite a bit. And then if I still feel that they're too dark, I'll come back down into the luminance and saturation. Put the luminance up on the yellows just a little bit, just so the edges there pop. And then not overexposed, so that's okay. And then I think I'm going to bring the luminance of the orange up a little bit more. I did, yeah, just to bring up the detail in them a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to bring the saturation of the yellow up just a little bit more. Okay, and then another quite important thing is the tone curve. So I select 3, put one just here, one there. It's your basic S curve really, and one there. Bring the highlights up a little bit. Bring the contrast up just a tiny bit more. Bring the shadows down a little bit more. And then this will introduce a little bit of fade into the picture. So I'd say about that much was right. And I think I might just have the highlights a bit too much. Well, it's not really changing at all, is it? I'd say about there. Ah, there we go. Oop. So about, oh, just reset it. That'll do. Looks about right to me. So there is the finished image. And sometimes I do actually come into the temperature slider if I want to just bring out the greens a little bit more and the yellows a little bit more. Just like that. Just something like that. And it's still quite noisy. I was using high ISO because it was very, very dark when I took this picture. So you can come back down to the luminance, bring that up maybe to 40. Just gets a little bit older. You can also move the smoothness of the colours up as well. But I think that's okay. Right, just as an example now, because I took the purples out of the other picture. If you've actually got purples in your picture, now you'll see if I click on the preset, saturation's completely gone out of it. So what I usually do there is just come up, bring the purple back up a little bit, say no, that's too much, so bring it back down a little bit more. I'll change the hue of it a little bit more. You know, you can do anything. You can make it blue if you wanted to, you can make it pink. I think just about there looks alright for me. And then yeah, again, do that. Bring the blacks down a little bit. See, I do want more contrast in this picture, actually. Let's bring that there. Just a little bit more clarity. There we go. And the same on this picture as well. If I put the preset on, all the saturation's gone, but this one's in the magenta this time, I think. So bring that up more. And I think that's exactly what I did for this post. Just bring this up to quite a high number, say about there. Did I change the hue? I might have changed it to make it a little bit more pink. Brought the luminance of it up just a little bit more, and then the highlights, something like that, I think. And it's back up. Back's down again, wasn't it? Clarity. I think that was it for the finished images. I must say that, you know, it helps to have a well exposed picture in the first place, then you've just got to, you know, edit less. So you know, give it a go. Even if you got some old pictures that are just, you know, not that great, try it out and see what you can mess around and come up with. But I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you do give it a go. If you've liked this video, give it a like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And don't forget guys, the next video coming up is the Urbex video from Saturday. So be keeping your eyes peeled for that, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.